What if I told you that the universe is already listening to you, but you simply don't realize it? Some people manifest their desires effortlessly, while others seem to be ignored. Jacobo Grinberg, one of the leading scholars of consciousness, discovered that communication with the universe doesn't happen through words, but rather through our vibration. When I understood this, everything changed. The answers started coming, the signs became clear, and opportunities appeared like magic. Today, I'm going to show you exactly how to make the universe listen to you and respond every single day. So stick with me until the end, because this could be the missing piece in your life. I want to share something that transformed my life forever. There was a time when I felt like the universe was ignoring me. No matter how much I asked, dreamed, or wished for something, nothing happened. But one day, I understood something. The universe doesn't respond to my words, but to my vibration. When I discovered the right ways to connect with it, my life took a complete turn. Since then, the universe has been responding to me all the time. Opportunities appear out of nowhere. I think of someone and suddenly they call me. I ask a question in my mind, and within minutes, I see the answer in a book, a song, or an unexpected conversation. This isn't magic, it's a real connection. And today, I want to share with you the 5 ways I communicate with the universe and receive clear answers. If you apply these techniques, you'll start noticing signs everywhere. Subscribe so you don't miss any of this valuable content. Grab your coffee, take a deep breath, and let's dive in. At first, I thought that to manifest something, I just needed to repeat affirmations or write down my wishes on paper. But after many frustrations, I realized something crucial. The universe doesn't respond to what I say, but to the energy behind my words. I understood this in a very simple way. Imagine walking into a room where someone has just had an intense argument. Even though you haven't heard a single word, you can feel the tension in the air. Or, conversely, when someone enters with an authentic smile, their energy changes the atmosphere without saying anything. The same happens with the universe. You don't need to shout what you want because it doesn't respond to your words, but to the emotional vibration you carry inside. That's why, instead of repeatedly asking myself why I didn't have what I wanted, I started asking a more important question. What energy am I using to ask? If I ask with anxiety, fear, or desperation, the universe responds with more situations that reflect that vibration. But when I started asking with confidence, gratitude, and security, the universe responded with opportunities aligned with that energy. This shift in focus was a turning point in my life and is the foundation of the 5 most powerful ways I've discovered to communicate with the universe. For a long time, I wondered why the universe wasn't giving me what I wanted. I repeated affirmations, decrees, and even tried visualizing, but my reality remained the same. When we desperately want something, we tend to focus on what we lack, unknowingly reinforcing scarcity in our vibration. That's exactly what I did for years. Every time I said things like, I don't want more problems, or I need money urgently, or hopefully this will work out, what I was really sending to the universe was the vibration of fear, worry, and uncertainty. And since the universe responds to the energy I emit, I kept manifesting more situations that reflected those emotions. It wasn't until I changed the way I asked for things that my reality began to shift. The key was raising my frequency, and I did that with something so simple yet incredibly powerful that it's surprising we aren't taught this from a young age. Gratitude. One day, after weeks of frustration, I decided to conduct an experiment. Instead of complaining about what I lacked, I started thanking the universe for what I already had, even if it was little. Each night before bed, I wrote down 3 things I was grateful for. At first, it was difficult. My mind was so used to focusing on problems that it was hard to find reasons to be thankful. But over time, something shifted. I stopped fixating on what I lacked and started noticing what I already had. My emotional state improved without any external changes. I began feeling lighter, more at peace, and most importantly, within a few weeks, the universe started responding. If you've ever felt like the universe wasn't responding to you, I want you to try this. Grab a notebook or your phone and, each night, write down 3 things you're grateful for. They don't have to be big things. They can be small details, like having a good cup of coffee in the morning or receiving an unexpected compliment. Do this as an exercise of faith. Just like me, you'll see amazing results. Throughout the years, in difficult moments, I would look up to the sky and say things like, "God, please help me. Universe, give me a sign. I don't know what to do. I need guidance." But over time, I realized something fundamental. When you ask out of desperation, you're sending the universe a message of lack. If I ask for help with fear, what I'm really projecting is the feeling that I'm lost, without control, as if something is missing. And the universe, which always responds to the deepest energy behind our words, simply reflects more of that uncertainty back to us. This change in mindset completely transformed my connection with the universe. The key isn't in asking, it's in affirming and thanking, as if you've already received what you desire. Once, I heard a phrase that made me deeply reflect. When you pray asking for something, you're declaring that you don't yet have it. But when you pray with gratitude, you're acknowledging that it's already yours. I decided to put this to the test. Instead of continuing to say, "God, give me strength," or "Universe, please send me an opportunity," I started saying, "Thank you because I already have the strength within me. I trust that the universe has already aligned everything for my highest good." The first time I did this, something inside me shifted. I felt immediate peace. It was no longer a plea, it was a certainty. I remember during a difficult phase when I was looking for a job. Before, I would have acted out of desperation, sending resumes with the energy of, "Please, someone hire me." But this time, instead of panicking, I decided to apply my new method of prayer. Every morning upon waking, I repeated, "Thank you because the perfect job for me is already on its way. I trust that everything is falling into place for my greatest benefit." Less than a week passed, and out of nowhere, I received a call. It was an offer I never imagined, much better than I thought possible. On that day, I understood something I've never forgotten. When I trust, the universe responds with clarity. If you've ever felt like your prayers weren't working, I invite you to try this method. Speak to the universe as if you've already received what you desire. Don't say, "Universe, give me peace." Say, "Thank you because peace is already within me." Eliminate the pleading and replace it with affirmations. Instead of saying, "Hopefully this works out," say, "I trust that everything is working out exactly as it should." Feel the emotion of already having what you desire. Close your eyes, breathe deeply, and visualize how you'd feel if what you desire were already in your life. Let go of the need to control everything. When you ask with anxiety, you block the flow of the universe. But when you let go of control and trust, magic happens. It's not about religion or following a specific ritual. Prayer is simply a conversation with the universe. When you speak with certainty instead of doubt, the universe responds with clarity and speed. If there's something you deeply desire, try this method. Change your words, change your vibration, and watch how the universe begins to move in your favor. The question isn't whether the universe hears you, the real question is how you're speaking to it. For a long time, I thought the universe wasn't responding to me. I repeatedly wondered why I didn't see signs, why I didn't receive clarity about what I should do, and why everything seemed so confusing. But one day I understood something crucial. The problem wasn't that the universe wasn't speaking to me, it was that I didn't know how to listen. My mind was full of noise from the moment I woke up. Thoughts of worry, doubts about the future, endless to-do lists. My brain raced in 1,000 directions, filled with anxiety about tomorrow and regret about yesterday. And there was the issue. There's no way to hear the voice of the universe if your mind doesn't quiet down. So I'd always heard about meditation, but I didn't take it seriously. I thought it was something complicated, requiring hours of practice, or that it only worked for people living in Buddhist temples. Until one day, in the middle of a personal crisis, I decided to give it a try. I closed my eyes and took a deep breath. But instead of peace, I found chaos. My thoughts wouldn't stop. They ran in every direction, full of worries and pending tasks. For a moment, I wanted to give up, but something inside me said, "Stay here. Don't try to control anything." I kept breathing without fighting my thoughts. I simply let them pass, like clouds in the sky. And suddenly, something curious happened. My mind gradually began to calm down. Amidst the noise, spaces of silence began to appear, and in that silence, something changed. I started noticing thoughts that didn't seem to come from me. Solutions to problems I'd been struggling with for days appeared as spontaneous flashes. Ideas I hadn't considered before arrived with total clarity, and most surprisingly, my intuition grew stronger. I began to feel with certainty when I should make a decision, when to wait, or when something was right or wrong for me. On that day, I understood something I'll never forget. The universe has always been responding to me. The problem was that my mind was so full of noise that I couldn't hear it. The universe doesn't shout. It doesn't send messages in giant letters across the sky. It whispers. And if your mind is busy with the noise of daily life, you'll never hear its responses. That's why meditation isn't just a spiritual practice. It's the most powerful way to open the channel of communication with the universe. If you've ever felt like the universe wasn't responding to you, I invite you to try this. Find a quiet place. You don't need to be in a temple, just a space where you won't be interrupted. Sit comfortably, close your eyes, and don't worry about sitting in a lotus position. Just relax, breathe deeply and focus on your breath. Feel the air entering and leaving. Don't try to control your thoughts. Let them flow like clouds passing through the sky. Simply stay there in silence for a few minutes. Don't expect anything. Don't force anything. Just breathe and observe. If you do this consistently, you'll be surprised. At first, you might not feel anything special, but over time, you'll start noticing something extraordinary. The answers that once seemed impossible to find will start appearing out of nowhere. One day, for no apparent reason, you'll suddenly know exactly what to do in a complicated situation. Ideas will come to your mind without you searching for them. Your intuition will grow stronger, and you'll know when something is meant for you and when it's not. Because when I quiet my mind, the universe speaks to me with clarity. What you consume shapes your reality. For a long time, I thought that to manifest something, I just needed to repeat affirmations out loud or write down my desires in a journal. But there was a problem. Even though I was saying phrases like, "I have abundance," or "I have the perfect job," my mind was projecting images of worry, unpaid bills, failed interviews, and obstacles that seemed impossible to overcome. That's when I understood a powerful truth. The universe doesn't respond to loose words, but to the mental images I sustain with emotion. If every time I said, "I want prosperity," my mind showed me scenes of scarcity, debts, or lack, what message was I really sending to the universe? It was like placing an order at a restaurant and, at the last second, changing it to something I didn't actually want. That's when I realized that visualization wasn't just an optional technique. It was the most powerful tool to program my reality. Our brain doesn't distinguish between a real experience and one lived in the imagination. If the emotion is strong enough, it becomes real to us. I discovered this when I remembered a time I dreamed I was falling from a building. Though I was asleep, my body reacted as if it were real. My heart raced, my breathing became agitated, and I woke up with the physical sensation of free falling. If my mind could make me feel that way with just an image in a dream, what would happen if I used that power to create the life I wanted? So I decided to run an experiment. Every day, I set aside 2 minutes to visualize what I wanted. But with one crucial detail, I didn't just see it, I felt it. If I wanted a new home, I didn't just imagine a house. I saw myself walking through each room, touching the furniture, opening windows, hearing the sound of the wind blowing through, and smelling the aroma of freshly brewed coffee in the kitchen. I felt the emotion of already living there. I didn't do it as someone waiting for it to happen, but as if I were already experiencing it. The most impressive part. A year later, I got exactly the house I had imagined, complete with details I hadn't even mentioned aloud, but that were part of my visualizations. Our brain works with images, not words. If your mind keeps projecting failure, obstacles, and difficulties, those are the images you're manifesting in your reality. But when you train your mind to clearly visualize what you want and feel it with emotion, it's like sending an exact order to the universe. When you change your internal images, you change your external reality. If you want to use visualization to manifest your desires, try this. Find a quiet place, sit comfortably, and close your eyes. Take a deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. Relax your body and create a mental scene where you already have what you want. If it's money, imagine it in your bank account. If it's health, imagine your body strong and full of energy. If it's love, imagine the happy relationship you desire. Add sensory details. What colors do you see? What sounds do you hear? What do you feel on your skin? Feel the emotion of it already being yours. Don't just see the image. Feel it as if it's real. Hold the image for a few minutes and then let it go. The key is to do this daily until your mind accepts the image as reality. You'll notice your visualization is working when you start seeing small changes in your thinking and in your life. You'll feel more confident and less anxious. Opportunities aligned with your desire will start appearing. You'll receive unexpected signs, guiding you in the right direction. And best of all, you'll reach a point where what you imagined manifests in your reality. The question isn't whether visualization works. The question is what images you're holding in your mind every day. The universe is always listening, but the key lies in learning to speak to it with clarity. One day, I realized something that completely changed the way I think. The words I constantly repeat aren't just phrases, they're direct orders to the universe. For years, I told myself things like, I'm not good at this, I struggle to make money, or I always have bad luck. Unconsciously, these phrases became my reality. That's when I understood that my subconscious mind was programmed to sustain limiting beliefs. Since the universe responds to my vibration, all I was doing with these phrases was reinforcing patterns of scarcity and difficulty. So I made a decision. If my mind could be programmed for lack, it could also be programmed for abundance. I did this in 2 ways, affirmations and conscious writing. Affirmations aren't just pretty sentences, they're commands you send to your mind and the universe. But for them to work, they must be done correctly. Before, I repeated affirmations, mechanically, without truly feeling them. I'd say things like, I am abundant or I have success, but deep down, I didn't believe them. Since my vibration didn't change, neither did my reality. Then I learned the secret. For an affirmation to work, you have to feel it as true. Here's what I did. I formulated my affirmations in the present tense and with conviction. Instead of saying, I want to be successful, I said, I am successful and have the right opportunities in my life. I wrote the affirmations by hand every day because when you write something, your mind records it more deeply. I repeated the affirmations out loud with emotion, not just saying them, but living them in my mind. I said them in front of the mirror, looking into my own eyes. At first it felt strange, but over time I started believing my own words. I repeated the affirmations before bed and upon waking, times when the subconscious mind is most receptive. The most incredible part. After a few weeks, my way of thinking began to change. I stopped doubting myself so much and started feeling more confident in my decisions. Opportunities that once seemed unattainable began to appear because when you reprogram your subconscious, the universe starts aligning your reality with your new beliefs. In addition to affirmations, I discovered another tool that transformed my life: writing letters to the universe. This works because when you write something with emotion, you're declaring it with total clarity. I started writing letters to the universe as if I'd already received what I desired. For example, if I wanted to improve my financial situation, I didn't write, "Universe, please give me more money." Instead, I wrote something like this: "Thank you, universe, because now I have financial stability. I feel secure, at peace, and fully confident that I always have what I need. Thank you for all the opportunities that have come into my life and for the freedom I'm experiencing." The curious thing was that months later, when I reread my letters, I realized that many of the things I'd written had manifested exactly as I described them. Since then, this is a practice I do regularly. Whenever I want to manifest something, I grab a notebook and write a letter to the universe in the present tense, with gratitude and details. Then, I let it go. I don't obsess over the outcome because I know it's already on its way. If you want to try this technique, follow these steps. Grab a notebook and find a quiet moment. Write the date and start with, "Thank you, universe, because..." Describe your desire as if it's already a reality. Include sensory details, how you feel, what you see, what you're experiencing. Feel the emotion of already having your desire as you write. Store the letter in a special place and forget about it. The key is to trust. You don't need to know how your desire will arrive. You just need to declare that it's already yours and let the universe do its part. Since I started applying these two tools, affirmations and conscious writing, my life has changed. Not only because the universe began aligning with my desires, but because I started acting from a completely different mindset. In the end, it's not just about saying what you want, it's about programming yourself to receive. And when you do that, the universe responds with precision. If you've made it this far, you're part of a select group of people who not only dream of changing their reality, but take action to achieve it. Many don't even get to this point, and that says a lot about you. I want to congratulate you for committing to your transformation. To celebrate this moment, leave a comment below saying, "I'm programming my mind, and the universe is responding." It won't just be your declaration of intention, but also a signal to the universe that you're ready to receive what you deserve. Now you know that the universe is always listening to you, but the real question is how you're speaking to it. If you change your vibration and the way you connect with the whole, the universe will start responding to you with clarity, just as it does for those who've learned this secret. Jacobo Grinberg dedicated his life to studying the mysteries of consciousness, and his discoveries confirm something many have felt in practice. Our minds and emotions shape the reality we experience. I want to hear from you. Which of these techniques will you put into practice first? Write in the comments, and if this video helped you, share it with someone who needs this message. If you want to continue this journey of transformation and understand even more about how to align your energy to manifest what you desire, check out this other video on the screen. It might be the next step you need to unlock your connection with the universe. Thank you for watching and see you in the next video.